to me, you touch on something that goes to the heart of John Paul II and the hope that he never relinquished, his hope that he found in young people. And I have to say, speaking for other members of the faculty, we really see that in the enthusiasm of young people, and that's not superficial. It's the radicality, as he puts it, you know, our life is about, as Christians, is about the encounter between the secularity and radicality of the world with the radicality of the gospel. And I think these young people sense this radicality, and it's very exciting. In other words, the depth of the challenge elicits the depth of response. And in particular, my experience is that the students find it over and over again, they find it very exciting to see how central marriage and family are. And how this is, I mean, it's always been the case, you know, that the family has been affirmed as important. But this has been immeasurably deepened in theology of the body and the teaching on sexuality, that you see sexuality goes to the root meaning of the person. And it has something to do with the communication in embodied persons of God's love. And therefore it's a moral question, but it's more even deeper than that. It's a question of the reality of our being. And that is where I think they get very excited. And they realize that these moral questions are not just a matter of moralism. They're a matter of, are we going to live reality? And reality is reflected in the body. And then the question always is, well, what's the big deal about the sexual dimension of the body? Well, the big deal about the sexual dimension of the body is that there you see this, the specific kind of generativity that human beings participate in. And sexuality has to do with that. I mean, that is the natural way, speaking from the point of view of the bodiliness of the creature, the natural way to image the fruitfulness of God, to participate in the co-creating of human life. There's no greater act. And to see that that is so much at the heart of the gospel. I mean, John Paul II draws that out, and I think with the book Love and Responsibility, and then the essay that's also, which was a wonderful idea to have it included in this book, on the meaning of spousal love, which is basically a commentary on a discussion on the book. A very important point that he makes there is he reaffirms the church's traditional teaching. There are two forms of spousal love, that consecrated virginity, and which is the exclusive love of God, and then spousal love which consists literally in the reciprocal self-giving of spouses. He affirms the traditional teaching, but then he says, and this is so important for this whole teaching that is then eventually projected into his pontificate, is that he says that this participation in gift really does participate in its own way in the image of God. And so what he's saying, while affirming the traditional position, he's lifting up marriage to affirm a sense in which marriage itself participates. He says the spouses together and each one alone participate in this imaging of God and the self-gift of God. So there is a new emphasis on marriage itself as a state, as a call to holiness. And that's a very, very important point, it seems to me, in his pontificate. And there's been a lot of discussion about that, but it's a very important point, it seems to me.